So thanks for inviting me. I will just briefly present our experience as Life NCP for Italy in supporting capacity building projects. I work at the Italian Ministry of the Environment and Energy Security, where also all my NCP colleagues work in Italy. So I would just like to start with a quick overview of our activities as Life NCPs, as we usually do in our presentation on our activities. We give focus support to Italian applicants. We organize and participate in events like the one of today. We carry out communication actions almost on a daily basis, I would say, also through social media. We have specific actions to promote projects and actions for synergies, complementarity, and replication. So to focus on our support to capacity building projects, we will focus on specific actions to promote projects. So as I was saying, this is usually the presentation that we give for showing our activities, and under specific actions to promote projects, we also have the organization of life exchanges of experience and study tours to Italy, including field visits to Italian projects for Life NCPs from other countries participating in the program. And this is, of course, because by doing field visits and connecting with Italian life projects, we're also giving them visibility. And we usually publish a news item on our website later on. So after our NCP colleagues visit, to also promote the projects that we have visited. So what do we do during study tours to Italy from life capacity building projects beneficiaries? As Levente was saying earlier on, when he presented their visit to Italy, we usually start with a meeting at our ministry's headquarters for mutual learning, where we listen to our colleagues' presentation of their capacity building project. And we usually give a presentation of our activities as Live NCPs in order to give ideas, exchange best practices, for example, regarding our communication actions. Then we usually plan field visits to successful live Italian projects. We usually agree upon the list with our visiting NCP colleagues in advance in order to have selected projects that are most interesting for them, for example, for the thematic area that they focus on. And then, of course, in this framework, there are also good networking opportunities. There are also good opportunities for us to better know our colleagues abroad, and also, of course, for them to connect with Italian project beneficiaries for possible future consortium agreements with entities from their countries. So that's also a very important and interesting opportunities for the NCPs who visit us. So we have a long history of capacity building beneficiaries coming to Italy. Starting from 2017, we had Bulgaria and Croatia for the first time. Also in 2017, we had Cyprus and Greece, and in 2018, we had Lithuania. In 2018, we had Hungary visiting for the second time with their NAT and EMV teams. In 2018, we also have Croatia for the second time. Estonia came here in 2022. Our colleagues from Portugal in 2024, and finally Hungary, so the colleagues that are here today hosting the event in 2025. And in October, half October, I had the pleasure to go with them and visit some very successful live projects in Italy. As I was saying, we started in Rome, in our ministry's headquarters, where we exchanged our best practices and they presented their capacity building projects. Here in Rome, we also listened to the presentation of 3 live clean energy transition projects that you can see on the screen: Life at Last, Life Islet, Life Discover. And then, as Levente was saying earlier, we visited on the field 2 projects, Life Viti Case, which is a project in vineyards, focusing on carbon sequestration from the soil. So it's a climate change mitigation project aiming at reducing GHG emission in the vineyard sector, and Life Natural Power in Bologna, which is aimed at reducing the impact of herbicides on the environment by creating bio-based herbicides and by lowering the impact of its production. And then in Bologna also we listened to the presentation of a strategic nature project, Life Nat Connect 2030, which is aiming at implementing 5 prioritized action frameworks in 5 regions in northern Italy. So here you can see some of the pictures of the visit from our colleagues. We started here with the first picture on the left in our ministry, listening to the presentation. Then here we were close to Florence in the beautiful Tuscany countryside, looking at the presentation of the VTCase project. On the bottom left, we visited the laboratories where they were testing the effectiveness of the newly created herbicides. And on the bottom right, we were in the region, in the Emilia-Romagna region, the region where Bologna is based, listening to the presentation from a very complex and ambitious strategic nature project. Some other activities that I would like to stress, Levente was also speaking earlier about the Net for Life project, which is not a capacity building project, but it's a very important project where we have the opportunity to network with our fellow NCPs, colleagues all over the European Union, and not only, but also with the countries associated to the LIFE program. And for example, we had the opportunity to provide in written form some of our best practices, some of the activities that we deem more useful to share with our NCP colleagues. We also participate in the advisory board of the second capacity building project of Portugal. So we have exchanges of ideas and technical knowledge. We try to give them feedback on the solutions that they find if they have issues with their projects. And here we just like to stress that I was very impressed with one of the initiatives that they carried out throughout their capacity building project, which was creating a podcast about life, which I think was a very smart idea, because podcasts are more and more used, especially among young people. So it's a good way to involve new possible life stakeholders. And we were also invited to one of the podcast episodes to present the experience of the Italian Life NCP. So that was really nice. And finally, another activity that I would like to mention, it's also not in the framework of a capacity building project, but the European Commission has asked us to mentor the Moldovan Life NCP. As some of you might know, Moldova is now one of the non-European Union countries that can apply to LIFE. And so we are carrying out some activities with the Moldovan NCPs. We've had a workshop where we presented our activities and the implementation of LIFE in Italy, which was closed, let's say, to the public officials that are carrying out the NCP's activities in Moldova. And then we had a public event also online with Moldovan entities interested in the LIFE program, and which was very participated and active, and where we also invited some Italian LIFE projects that presented their activities and their results, and the Moldovan audience was very happy with it. So some other activities that are foreseen for the future are, of course, a Moldovan LIFE study tour to Italy and a LIFE training on site for us to have in Moldova. Before passing the word back to Levente and to the successful LIFE projects that will present their activities. I would just like to mention one thing about the future of life. As probably, I guess, all of you know, the program is in high danger because the current proposal of the European Commission foresees its dilution in different and broader funds. So many life activities will be eliminated probably. There is no legal certainty about the continuation of these activities. There is no ring-fenced budget. So what we're trying to do as Italy is to really push for requesting the restoration of the LIFE program as an autonomous program also for the next programming period, which is from 2028 to 2034. We know that Hungary is also in support of this position, so we thank our colleagues. And I really would like to invite all attendees in their capacities as they can to really give support to this request and try to preserve life as it is now, as successful as it is now. Some stakeholders are raising their voice through different initiatives. There is now a petition on change.org that I invite you to sign. And we know that the European Parliament is also doing their part. So please just, it's an invitation for everyone to do their little part and push for the continuation of life as it is now. Thank you very much for listening to me and have a nice rest of the event.
Thank you very much, and nice to see you, and thanks for the invitation. So I will share my presentation. Is it fine, or you? So just let.
Yes, it is fine. Please do so.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Just let me. Okay, can you see it? Can you see the presentation?
Yes, we can.
Yeah,
we can
okay.
see it clearly.
Okay, so this LIFE project is a Life Nature project. The goal of the project is to 2021. And it is called the Life Predator. That means prevent, detect, and combat the spread of Silurnus glanis in South European lakes to protect biodiversity. So the object of this LIFE project is this huge fish, is the catfish. So it's an invasive fish species in South European lakes. So okay, so it's quite slow. As you can see here, is a freshwater giant, so it can reach up to 3 meters and weigh more than 150 kilos, 200 kilos. So basically, is impacting very hardly the biodiversity of lakes in Southern Europe, especially in Mediterranean countries like Italy, France, Spain, and Portugal. So as you can see here, the catfish is alien in Southern Europe. It was introduced in the 19th century in the UK and Western Europe, then was introduced to Italy, Spain, and France. And the main introduction pathways are aquaculture, but mainly recreational fishing. So it's a huge fish, so very nice to catch it, and anglers love to spread it everywhere to increase, the potential of many lakes for fishing. Why is it an invasive species? Well, basically because it has a rapid growth, so lack of natural predator, is able to establish self-sustaining population, and very often, it becomes the dominant predator in the invasive system. So the impact of this fish is quite huge, both on biodiversity but also on the functioning of the ecosystem. It's highly prolific. It can spawn up to 30,000 eggs per kilo, and it exerts parental cares. You can imagine what means in terms of egg production. A female of 100 kilos, how many eggs can produce? So can be very the invasive potential is very, very, very high. It has a wide ecological tolerance, and well, in some part, in some environment, it is limited by temperature, but in other environments, we have seen that these fish can be very active also in winter. So in terms of its capability and adaptability in South European waters, you can imagine what are the implications of these characteristics. Okay, so it's a high adaptable apex predator. So in this project, the aim is to develop a multidisciplinary strategy to limit the spread, okay, to halt future introduction and to control population and to limit the impacts on biodiversity. So the consortium of this LIFE project is composed by 6 beneficial partners, 3 countries, Italy, Portugal, and Czech Republic, and 5 co-financiers, including also the EU contribution. So it's an international LIFE project. And the project area is so mainly related to the three nations, so Portugal, Italy, and Czech Republic. 23 lakes are included in the project in Italy, 25 reservoirs in Portugal, and 2 reservoirs in Czech Republic. And it's quite interesting that the presence of the Czech Republic partner, the Czech partner, is related to its technical skill in regard to these species. Because I told you before, the species is not native in South European countries, but is native in Eastern European countries. So the Czech partner has a lot of skill in managing these species, has a lot of experience, past experience in terms of knowledge of the ecology of the species, and is a part of this LIFE project as technical partner to help to develop the best protocol for the capture of the catfish in South European lakes. So the structure of the project is this one. So it's composed project by 8 work packages. Okay, it's quite simple. It started in 2022 and it will end in 2027. Probably in 2028, we will ask for an extension of the deadline to fully achieve all the objectives of the project. So the first objective is to prevent further introduction. So what we know is that stocking by anglers is the main vector of the Silurus glanis introduction in South European countries. So basically, the project focused on the involvement and the implement, raising awareness events targeting fishermen and anglers. So we have this 400,000 target, 500 adults, 14,000 children. So this will basically achieved by a different series of events, including also questionnaires and involvement of these stakeholders to understand at first their perception of the problem, and then to evaluate at the end of the project if this perception and the perception changed due to the project itself. Okay, so basically the second objective is related to the early detection. What we know about invasive species is that if we act at the beginning of the invasion, we can let's say think to reduce or stop the invasion itself. So what we know from science as well is that the early detection is essential to ensure the success of eradication. So what we are going to do in this project is to develop this early detection system that is based on one side environmental eDNA. So just look at the presence of the DNA of this fish in water, and also on citizen science. So in all the lakes of all the lakes of the project, we will develop this sensitive and specific eDNA assay to test the presence of the catfish, although it's not visible to people. Okay, or train angler and citizen that are united in warning teams. Okay, that can contribute to the identification of the first catfish in the lake. So the early presence of the catfish. And of course, this early warning system will serve as a system that can transfer the information to the managing authorities, such as regions, regional office, fishing hunting office, and so on. So they can later on they can work to the eradication of this fish in this kind of lakes. The third objective is to try to efficiently control already established population. So what we know is that when the abundance of an invasive species is high, the solution to try to control the population is to eradicate or taking out the species from the environment. Of course, in lakes it's not so easy because often lakes are very large. So what we implemented in the project is to is a protocol for the best capture methodologies. They've been tested and applied in different lakes, such as Lake Maggiore, that is a very, very large lake in northern Italy. So 5 lakes small lakes in Natura 2000 sites, and 4 Portuguese reservoirs also in Natura 2000 sites. Okay, so the objective was achieved, and we developed this a deliverable that indicate for each kind of environment what are the best methodologies to catch and remove these fish. Another part of the project, very important, is the impact monitoring. So we know that if we want to see the results, we need to monitor them. So we have basically four indicators, very wide in terms of ecological importance. We apply the BACI approach, so before-after control impact. We will look at the fish community before and after the removal intervention. We will look at the food webs, how they change, so how the functioning of the lake ecosystem change before and after. Okay, we will look at the eukaryotic community, so not only fish, but all the eukaryotic community of the lakes. And at the end, we will look at the ecological status assessed according to the Water Framework Directive. So a very wide strategy, and to monitor the impact of the removal activity. The fifth object is related to the sustainability, replication, and exploitation of the project results. So, of course, we want to develop a multifaceted strategy to avoid further introduction and to reduce the presence of the catfish or control it in the environments. So basically, we will work on the development of guidelines and protocols to the institution of this so-called Southern European Management Group. That means a group composed by different fishing authorities in different region, of different countries in Southern Europe, that as this group has the aim to share best practices in order to control the spread of the catfish. And of course, one of the main aspects of this object is to teach fishermen. They should be aware of the importance to avoid the further introduction of the catfish. They have to know the importance to avoid further introduction, because the impact of this fish on the whole ecosystem can be very, 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 very strong. Okay. And of course, this kind of involvement has been carried on by different, events and strategies. So training courses, school visits, different outreach sessions, meeting with local citizens, and of course, technical and scientific lecture in university, environmental agency, and parks, and so on. But another important aspect of the project, the last one, is to try to promote the circular economy, because you have to know that the catfish is not a very popular fish in Southern Europe. So it is usually considered a waste, although it is caught by, for instance, commercial fishermen. It was usually thrown in a basket, so it's not very appreciated. So one part of the project is to change this approach on the catfish. So the catfish is a good fish, can be used as food. So it does not mean promote an invasive species, but means try to change the mind of people, so improve the fishing pressure on this catfish, or on this fish, to control its population where it has already spread. So from waste to food. And here's some images from our Portuguese colleagues, so different events where the catfish has been cooked and presented to people, and it is a nice experience in terms of improvement of local economy, because they already started to develop a kind of economic activity around the lakes where the catfish is going to be removed. So this is a very interesting experience that also started in Italy, and I think is a good result for the project. So these are the main point of the project, and thank you very much for your attention.
Okay. So good morning to everybody, and thank you for this opportunity. Image Life project is a project founded in the climate change adaptation call. And the primary object of our project is to improve the supply chain of one of the most famous PDO product in the world, that is Parmigiano Reggiano cheese. The project started at the end of 2024 and is coordinated by the University of Bologna together with other Italian partners such as Agrites, LCE, Progeo, and the consortium of Parmigiano Reggiano, and 3 international partners such as ERRA, CIRAD, and Vetagrosub, who are mainly responsible for the replication activities. The project focused on the area within the PDO territory that are located mainly in the Emilia-Romagna region, where milk production, processing, minimum aging, and packaging must be carried out. The problem that gave rise to the project is linked to the effect of climate change, and in particular to the impact observed in the Mediterranean region, such as the increased risk of drought and demand for water for agriculture, and the decrease in rainfall and the agricultural yield, especially for summer crops. Moreover, the Mediterranean area is at high risk of aflatoxin contamination, as shown in this map, and therefore, in this situation, the Parmigiano-Reggiano supply chain must import almost all its corn from abroad. So, considering that maize crop is particularly employed as a raw material in the feed sector, the project addresses an important challenge. So, as possible solution, the Image Life project aims to extend the principle of resilient agriculture and the cultivation of water-saving crops such as sorghum, reducing dependence on corn grain import and optimizing the production of sorghum-based feed. During the project, also specific tests will monitor co-productivity and milk quality. At the end of the project, replacing corn with sorghum will improve water efficiency by using crop with low water consumption and reduce also greenhouse gas emissions thanks to the use of grains grown in the PDO area. Finally, the project is also carrying out a replication activity involving the production chain of 2 French cheeses, again testing the replacement of corn with the sorghum, with the same target and object of the Italian field trial. So, given our project, I believe that the most important elements can be summarized in this key message. The first key message in our experience, I think that is very, very important to spend time drafting the section of impact. It is important to clarify the project object and also to quantify its impact in detail, because well-written section of impact, I think that it's very, very linked with a successful project. And also, I think that is very important to involve partners, all the partners in this, in the preparation of this section. The second key message, I think that is important to include in the project only what you are sure you can do. Is not a good idea to include elements just to impress the evaluator. I think that in the plan all activities must be described in detail, but it is important to include a clear detail of the project, but not additional element. The third message, I think that is the most important. In our experience, I think that the successful project are very, very linked with the project community. So in this case, in this project, we create community with all the part of the supply chain of Parmigiano-Reggiano, farmer, feed producer, consumer, because I think that it is important that every part of the supply chain must understanding why that specific change is important. So in our case, for example, farmers need to understand why we are asking them to grow sorghum instead maize, and also, for example, consumer need to be fully aware of the importance of their choice. So I think that to have a great project, it is important to build a strong project community to support the activity of the project in every step of the activity. Thank you for your attention.